Hey everybody, Greater Good Mining here. So today I am going to do a full disassembly and reassembly of this KS2 Lite. I was attempting to put in this control board that you see on the screen right here to see if I could get the second hashboard up and hashing on this. I've had problems with it. I've done a whole separate video on troubleshooting it. If you want to watch that one, I'll leave it at the end. But unfortunately, this control board did not help my problem. I was unable to get the second hashboard working, but I figured the footage was still valuable if you're looking to disassemble your KS2 Lite. So today's video is going to be kind of just like a very quick rundown and showing you like how to take the whole thing apart in case you need to, say, like replace a power supply, replace a hashboard, replace a control board. So hopefully the video is helpful to someone. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get this thing hashing to the full hash rate that it's supposed to get. But like I said, I think the footage is still valuable, might help somebody out. So real quick, before we get into taking it apart, thank you to the sponsor of this video, Terra Hosting. Terra Hosting is a state-of-the-art white glove hosting facility, 99% average uptime, no curtailment, rates as low as 0.0825 cents per kilowatt hour, and they fill up fast, guys. This is a brand new facility. These containers are full. They are adding more containers within the next few weeks. So click on the link in the description and fill out the form. Let them know you're interested and lock your spot in before they run out of space again. What's cool about Terra Hosting is they accept miners that you send to them if you already own them. But if you don't already have mining equipment and you're looking for a great deal, check out terrahashes.com. I'll show my discount code on the screen. Check them out. They have the best and latest mining equipment, and they make it so easy. You can just order from them, ship it straight to Terra Hosting. Make sure you fill out the form first and get your slot locked in, and then it's all taken care of for you. Like I said, white glove hosting service. Check out Terra Hosting and check out Terra Hashes. Okay, we've taken the screws out on the front. There's 4 on each corner. Then there's 2 more that are right next to where you saw like the plugs and like where you plug in the Ethernet cable. So I turned it back on its side for this part of it because when you unscrew these, the hashboard and like the power supply, everything, it's kind of like all in one piece. You'll see once we crack it open, and I didn't want it to slide around in there and kind of fall. So I put it back on its side for this part. So there's 6 screws on this side where you see the plug and the Ethernet cable. Next, we'll unscrew the 4 screws on the side where the intake fans are. Be careful when you go to take the cover off because the wires that attach this to the control board are very short. There isn't much room, so just be careful when you're laying the fans down. We'll unplug the fans from the control board once we slide it out and get a little more slack here. We've got the guts of the KS2 Lite out. It's very interesting the way they have this set up. You can kind of see the hashboards are almost like floating once you take it out of the case itself. So let's go ahead and unplug the fans so we have a little more slack. There's 2 fans and 2 wires, so pretty easy. You can also use spoofers. I'll leave links to spoofers in the description. You can run a shroud kit on this if you wanted to minimize the wattage that pulls from these fans. These power supplies are almost maxed out on these KS2 Lites, so some people prefer to run shrouds on them, control the temperature that way. Next, we're going to remove the ribbon cables for hashboard 1 and hashboard 2. We'll remove the ribbon cables from the control board first. Then we will unplug the power supply from the control board, but be careful. You don't want to reverse the way the power supply cables are plugged in. So I'll show you close up now that we've got the ribbon cables disconnected here. Let me go ahead and pick this machine up and then take a look here. The black wire is kind of like facing towards you. That's the way it should be plugged in because there's really not much of a guard to protect you from flipping it, reversing it the other way. So I just wanted to point that out to you. That's the way I found it. So I put it back the way it was. Black wire is facing towards you, and then the yellow wire is facing in towards the control board panel. Next, we're going to remove the screws that attach the hashboards to the bus bar. So this is how the power gets delivered to the hashboards themselves. You see there's 2 screws. We'll fast forward through it because it's just basically unscrewing those 2 screws. I would recommend holding onto the hashboard while you're unscrewing it because, like I said, they're just kind of floating in the air once you take it out of the case. Now, I'm going to point out the screws that you'd need to remove the heatsink and repaste the chips. I won't be repasting the chips on this anytime soon because the heatsinks do a great job. My chip temperatures are totally fine, so I'm not going to be doing that as part of this repair. But I just wanted to show you guys how to remove the hashboards. It's very easy. Like I said, just basically unscrew the 2 screws from the bus bar, hold onto the hashboard so it doesn't fall onto the control panel. Okay, next we're going to unscrew the control panel, which is mounted directly to the power supply. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws to remove to take the control panel off. Also, we need to remove the second cable that's attached from the power supply to the control panel. So I'll go ahead and fast forward through unscrewing all these screws, and then we'll install the new control panel. Okay, we got all the screws off. Let's take the old control panel off. And that's the power supply with a couple of bus bars still attached. So there's nothing really that fancy about it. It's pretty easy to take apart and put back together. So there's the new control panel. This was what I was hoping was the issue. I tried to swap out an AL2 Lite's power supply into this KS2 Lite, and unfortunately that didn't help the situation. So it still wants to only hash on one hashboard. In my previous video, I tested both hashboards. They both work. Both cables work. Power supply from the AL2 Lite worked just as well as this one. And for some reason, it still would only hash on one hashboard when both are connected to this control board. So the only other thing I could think of, maybe since this control panel didn't work, is that maybe both power supplies are having issues like running this KS2 Lite because the algorithm, maybe AL2 Lite is a lithium algorithm. Maybe that's like a slightly less power hungry algorithm. I actually didn't check to see what the power consumption was on the AL2 Lite before I did this. So maybe it's just doing something weird during boot up because the power supply has been weakened somehow. The only other thing I could do maybe is swap a new power supply into this thing. And if that doesn't work, it's really a bummer because that would be several $100s worth of equipment that I had to buy between the control boards and the power supply just to try and see if I can get this thing hashing at the full hash rate again. So you guys tell me what you think. Is this something that you would bother doing considering the price of Kaspa right now? It just bothers me that I can't fix this. That's the kind of the personality that I have. So if you guys have had trouble with this and you found a solution, please let me know. I'd love to feature your comment in a video and fix this thing for real. I'll have to think about whether it's worth it for me to dump more money into this and buy another power supply. The only other thing I was thinking is if I could get it fixed and it's working perfectly, maybe I could turn around and sell it on eBay, maybe buy some new equipment, things like that. So you guys tell me what you think. Would you bother doing this? I hope the video has been helpful to you so far. We'll finish putting this together, but I wanted to stop mid-video and ask you what you think. Please comment below. Tell me what you think about this whole situation. Tell me if you found any solutions if you had the same problem. So now, as you can see, we're just reinstalling the hashboards, putting the screws back in, installing it on the bus bar, and then we're going to slide this back into the shell that it goes into. And it's a little finicky when you guys slide this back into its shell. You can see on the top left of the screen, the shell has little notches in the the case itself. So you have to line up the little metal spline right here on top of the hashboard. As you can see, I'm kind of dragging my mouse across it. That will help you when you line those up. And I would recommend maybe not tightening these screws down tight all the way until you slide this in, because it is very finicky. There's also a rail on the bottom down here where the hashboard has a spline on the bottom of it as well. So you have to line up the top and bottom of each hashboard to these notches, and it's really just kind of a little bit difficult. So I would recommend maybe leaving these screws loose, and then that way when you slide this in, there's wiggle room, and then you can tighten them down once you slide the whole the whole guts of it back into the shell. So that's just a tip that would have reduced the frustration that I had, because I had to loosen these screws back up just to get the thing to slide back in. Okay, so we've gotten the hashboards reattached to the bus bars. Now we just need to plug these ribbon cables back in, and then we'll try to slide the guts back into the shell like I was just describing to you. It was a little difficult. This is the part that I was telling you about. This is the part that caused me the most frustration. And also, fair warning, these hashboards are sharp. Those fins are very sharp, so be very careful when you're touching them and sliding things around. There was one point where I kind of nicked my finger a little bit on the hashboards. Very sharp on these, so just be careful with that part of it. Real quick, want to let you guys know about a sale from Tangent Wallet. This is where I store my Kaspa. They have the Kaspa edition Tangent Wallet as well. You can buy one, get one 50% off, and you still get 10% off with my discount code GreaterGood always, but they have an additional discount code for stackable, 15% off for a total of 25% off. HNY2615. I'll leave links to this in the description. So it's crazy. You're getting 25% off the first card and then an additional 50% off the second card. So you can get 2 3-card Tangent Wallets for $87.38. And I think you can get free shipping if you add one more order to the card for $89 total. So if you guys are looking for like a holiday gift box, I did a full video on that. I'll leave that at the end in the cards. Check out the holiday gift box if you guys are looking for last minute holiday deals. Okay, let's slide the guts back into this case. Be careful because the power supply cable, there's like a extra capacitor maybe in line or something, and it usually gets in the way when you try to slide these back together. So I'm just going to fast forward really quickly through putting the covers back on. It's just like the way we took them off. Don't forget, you still have to plug your fans back in, or if you want to use the spoofers, like I said, I'll leave those in the description of the video if you decide to do a shroud or something crazy on these. So we'll fast forward through this so we can get to the part where I show you what it looks like in the web GUI with the hashboards, one of them working, one of them not. Okay, so as you can see, I'm only getting 1,000 gigahash per second. So one of the hashboards is not showing up at all. The temperatures are showing really low. Let me show you that. So like I said, very strange. I've replaced both cables. I've swapped out power supplies for other known goods power supplies. I've swapped out the control board. Each hashboard works on its own separately. Each one works and hashes at the same 1,000 gigahash, and the temperatures are normal when I have one plugged in versus the other. But when I plug both of them back in, even on the new control board, it is not recognizing the second hashboard. I am not sure what else to do. I have also upgraded the firmware. So you guys tell me, have you ran into this problem? Have you solved it? If you got any tips, I'm all ears, because at this point, I'm not sure what else I can try except for buying a brand new power supply, which I really don't want to do. I hope the video was helpful to you. And if you liked it, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to my channel. I got tons of crypto content. Check out some of my latest videos that I've done recently. And last but not least, don't forget to keep it decentralized for the greater good. The greater good.